Alright, hi there folks, this is Tim with a Star Citizen stream tonight. And tonight I'm going to be looking back at the demo that they did at Citizencon, which is their 4th annual kind of celebration of the people that back the development, essentially. And they had a pretty nice demo at Citizencon, and then also obviously I'm going to be doing some kind of general gameplay, much like you would have seen on previous live streams. Okay, so I don't know if this is okay to do this, but whatever. If they complain about it, I'll just take the video down. So I'm going to watch the Gamescom stream and basically kind of look at it. Okay, so what you're going to see in this demo is completely new terrain systems, seamlessly supports spherical terrain at a planetary scale. What that means is that basically if you see a mountain in the distance, you can walk to the mountain and climb up the mountain. It's not like a horizon texture that you know, you would never be able to get to. Runtime generation. I'm not sure I necessarily believe that. They might be hiding the generation within some other kind of loading mechanism. But yeah, I mean, what that basically means is that you shouldn't notice loading of the planet. Unrestricted view distance. So that basically means if you drag that slider for view distance all the way to the right, you should literally be able to see something which is hundreds of miles away if the lighting conditions are right and stuff like that. Artist driven and procedurally enhanced ecosystems, and what you'll see there is that they think that with the procedural generation that they're using, like basically if they kind of hold the mouse down and kind of brush it over an area, it'll automatically procedurally generate randomly different trees and kind of place them slightly differently, have different limbs and stuff like that, all kind of procedurally different, I guess. And then they actually showed some of that, I think, after the actual demo. And then handcrafted missions supplemented by algorithmic content. So that basically means, like in Elite Dangerous right now, you might have a mission to take a package from A to B. And on the journey somewhere, you might get attacked by someone that doesn't like the faction that you took the job from. And that's an automatically created mission that Frontier had nothing to do with manually creating. So that would be an algorithmic content mission. But they'll also have handcrafted missions on certain planets, or that they've specifically set up, you know, things for you to do on a particular type of planet, like a particular type of weather. Maybe they might have a situation where you go and you help people that are in the desert dying of dehydration, or you know, whatever like that, and those would be partially algorithmic. But then you'll also have literally handcrafted missions where there's a specific character of some kind that you have to go and do whatever with, or kill or rescue or whatever. So I'm going to shut up and start talking. Now the Twitch stream at least, did actually die twice during the actual demo. So it looks like we have about kind of 11 to 12 minutes on this video. Then I'll switch to this one, which was another 5 or 6 minutes, and then this one, the video actually stayed live, so you'll see the rest of the demo. I might talk a little bit over the top of it, so does Chris Roberts, so if you hear someone that sounds different to me, that's who it is. I think I have to
sort of stumble across,
there we go.
or you know, AI are doing things, and you know, we showed in Gamescom sort of an example of coming across a space wreck. You have to retrieve a black box from a destroyed Starfarer, and what we're
please do say what you think
sort of
in the chat.
Of sort of the simpler missions, which are mostly generated, you know, like, oh well, this location needs this kind of mineral, so they're creating a job for someone to bring it to them, or you know, go and fight the pirates that are getting in the way of the trade lanes. And then there's the sort of more in-depth stuff, which we sort of showed with the Miles Eckhart mission in the Gamescom demo. And what we're showing here is sort of the version of that was more planetary focused, where we build different building blocks and players could come across it and do it. You know, to have a rich living world that they're going to venture around. And so that's sort of the missions that sort of have these scripted blocks that sort of can procedurally sort of connect to each other and have maybe different situations or outcomes depending what's happening. And that's something that Todd Pappy, who's not here today, who's our design director, and Tony are very big on, and I think it's going to be really cool. So having said that, we are going to go to the demo. I don't think, let me see if there's a
It starts pretty soon, at like 2 minutes.
What's the next screen? Let's go down.
2 hours.
Let's go down, and we will start the demo. This is all 100% live, in the engine, in real time. Let's go.
It is all in engine, and it's actual gameplay, but it's very scripted. Like literally, he knows to go from A to B. If he veered and maybe tried to use Object C, the game might crash, literally. So basically they've just tested a single path that the person that's playing is literally going to follow. This is pretty normal for game demos of this kind. And you can see the frame rate up at the top right. That's something to make note of as well. I'm just going to lower my detail level on the video just slightly. I think I'll go to 720, 60. No, there's no planets currently, no. You'll notice you actually heard birds there too. Or what sounded like birds. There you go, now you can see the frame rate, sorry about that.
They missed it. He actually says hello, Citizencon, but you guys are all laughing when you saw the guy.
Yeah, basically right now you can go to Arc Corp, which is a planet, but you can just basically run around a city, so you get an idea of what it's going to be like. But you currently cannot do planetary landings like this. It's coming in version 3.0 in some form. And the different terrain types that you can see and things like that, it's really cool. There's deserts, landscapes, there's snow, the mountains look great, you can see clouds, the lighting all looks fantastic.
Constellation Aquila. Contrails. So we're heading towards the distress beacon. So the idea with this would be that you know, you potentially could get a mission where you get a distress beacon, and you're going to find out on, you know, in this particular case, this planet. So we're heading towards it.
And essentially, it looks like the frame rate stays at least kind of 60 frames a second. I think there's a drop to about 40 once or twice.
Right, so I think,
but it's pretty consistent.
One of the key gameplay things you want to do on, because obviously the planetary tech is going to allow us to have a whole bunch of play areas we don't normally have, is to encourage players not to always, you know, maybe you can't always fly there, maybe you have to get out and use your rover, for instance, which you have to do. So it's fine, let's go find a landing zone that's on the edge of the desert plain.
So I think what he's saying there is that basically there was an area of turbulence or something maybe that stopped him from being able to actually go to the signal directly and literally land kind of next to it. He's going to have to land somewhere else that's safe to land and then transport himself to the signal.
You know, it's a little compression there. We've been working on that thing for the... I know it's a small thing, but I always want to have the landing gear compressed when you land.
So you'll notice that in this later version there's like use elevator instead of use and stuff like that, so you'll actually see what it is that you're doing. Because right now you accidentally select the wrong thing because it only says use.
Alright, let's get us out. Let's be nice and tidy, close the locker up, and then grab our gun just in case there's some hostiles out there. I mean, but this is kind of an example, like for instance, you shouldn't be able to sort of sit in heavy armor flying a ship. Maybe you're in your flight suit and then you go and equip your armor or your EVA suit when you need to go outside and do stuff. And so you sort of want to make it quite immersive and have different reasons to be equipping and using different stuff. So if you notice, this is the actor that we had that was in People to Planet. He's actually in Squadron 42. He plays a character called Joachim Steiger. So let's go and see the distress beacons about almost 3 kilometers away over there. We get our scope out. Alright, so let's figure out how to get there since we can't fly.
You'll notice too, when he's looking towards an area that is really in the distance and he uses his scope on his gun too, that's when the frame rate drops. So the more detail that it's having to draw at a larger distance, that's when they're having the frame rate issues currently.
So we are now doing this in game, in real time. Awesome. Alright.
Now it looks like to me like they've saved some resources by making the physical model less detailed than the visual one. You'll notice in a few areas throughout this demo that an object will sit slightly above the world sometimes or slightly below it, like by maybe half a foot in kind of real measurements, and I think that's how they're making it this detailed. A lot of racing sims do the same thing. They'll have a different physical model to the visual one, and it allows them to use a lot less resources.
Yeah, unlike, I mean, all those mountains you see, if we have the time, we don't here, but I'm sure when you guys get on Croc Planets V2, there'll be lots of videos where people walk all the way around the planet, or they go to the mountain they see in the distance, because that is not a skybox, that is actually the proper mountain geometry that's all there, everywhere. And that's actually the liberating thing with this tech, is when you build a planet on a planetary scale at this level of detail, and of course you can see up close that it looks like what you see in Battlefield 1, for instance, in the desert. They're sort of glowing.
Alright, that was where the first stream crapped out on us, and everybody in chat went wild. It was really funny. This is where it came back on again, obviously. That's a wreck that he's found.
Looks like someone didn't heed the atmospheric unsafe flight warning.
So he might be saying there that you'll find wrecks where there are areas of turbulence. You know how he got that warning when he was coming in? If you don't pay attention to that, maybe you'll end up as like actually crashing.
Here, you can sort of see where we came from, about 2.5 kilometers back there. And so we're heading past this rock out, this sort of canyon walls to head to the distress beacon.
And you'll see we've just gone from a rocky area and we're now moving into more of a sandy kind of terrain.
Check out something else we had here, a little bit of breadcrumbs.
Yes, I can do. I can do that later. Just remind me, please.
Wonder where that came from. All right, let's carry on.
That kind of looked like a grave.
Head that way to get to the distress beacon.
Somebody buried under that rock. Show you guys the frame rate again up at the top right. Trigger cutscenes like this are totally doable. I know a lot of people think that this is something that makes it like it was pre-rendered or anything like that, but you see cutscenes like this all the time in every other game. So I don't understand why people would think that it's not real. As I was saying earlier, if you look at the bodies, they're not actually lying on the floor yet. They're about half a foot above the floor. and I think that's because the terrain, not the rocks that are built up on it, but the actual
I know the music changing here is all
land.
part of the dynamic music logic system. So
The actual land is a
it'll
simplistic
start to calm
physical
down now that
model,
the combat's over.
or a slightly
Right,
more simplistic.
well, we lost our rover. That's not so good.
So there's like a house on the right hand side, make sure you check that out. And this looks like at least part of a ship.
That was a trap.
Okay, so what he's saying is that this is a scripted mission where this was a trap.
Let's see what we got around here.
You know, people would have to land where they landed. They would have to go through the ambush spot and then come here. So basically, those sand people were setting people up.
Nomad dragonflies.
And if you look very closely at the player shadow, you can tell he's walking about half a foot above the surface when he's on the terrain as well.
Find our shot moment. Here we go. Alright, we got one. We got another distress beacon we've linked to, so let's go look for that. And remember, we came all the way down from planet all the way down here, and we're down driving around in this level of detail. So that's kind of a big testimony to what the Proc Planet V2 stuff does and the tools.
Okay, and that was the end of that one. Cue everybody going nuts in chat. And you can see obviously different kinds of plants, shrubs, grasses, things like that that are starting to come in. And you can actually see a sandstorm directly ahead that he hasn't mentioned yet. There's an oasis on the left and some water, but there's a sandstorm, that big cloudy area that's on the left of the screen now. Keep an eye on that as well.
Alright, so one more escape pod, which we linked to when we activated the other escape pod's beacon. So Vince, by the way, Vince is our lead QA in Los Angeles. He's a much better pilot than me. So you should give him your appreciation. Otherwise, you'd have me crashing into things.
Okay, so we have another couple of bits of ship.
Alright, escape pods, location, heavy class.
It looks like there's some kind of blue crystals of some kind.
Yeah, and if you see up there, that's the space station. And if you look closer, you can actually see the rings slowly rotate. But that is the space station we flew past on the way down. And that's kind of what the sort of tech and the 64-bit precision for positional space gives you. We just can have this dynamic range of scale that I don't think any other game has. So all this up-close detail at this level, at as high-quality first-person as you see in any other game, but on a global or a planetary or even star system scale.
He's right. I'm not aware of any other game
So Orpheus, Horizon,
that
Black Box. So
has done some of the things they have.
The two pods triangulated to where the Black Box of the Orpheus Horizon is, which is the crashed spaceship. But hopefully we'll find it.
That sandstorm seems to be getting closer.
Vince is undeterred by the impending sandstorm. But seriously, the sandstorm's an example of we want to have dynamic weather on the procedural planets, and we're working to have sort of a dynamic procedural weather system, and things like sandstorms, hurricanes, various weather systems are all things that will model onto the planets that will
keep your eyes open.
Sort of drama and challenges for when you're adventuring and playing around.
You may see some alien life.
Check out what these wreckage is
at some point soon.
Off in the distance, there's maybe the Orpheus Horizon. Oh, what's that? Hang on a sec. Oh! Maybe dangerous out in the desert, who knows? That looks like the Orpheus Horizon in the desert. But we're just gonna do it! And go out there.
He seems way too familiar with these memes.
That whole speech.
Yeah, this is very Dune, absolutely. As long as I get to kill the Baron Harkonnen, I can deal with that.
There.
Like I said, just to remind you, this is all very scripted. You know, he's supposed to take the path he's taking. They know what's going to happen when he gets there. They've made things come up at a certain time. It's a demo.
Right.
You know.
So we showed you a crashed Starfarer. This is a crashed Javelin.
But the fact that they've got this far is amazing.
Pop off here.
Even if this was an enclosed area
about 200 meters away.
And not a procedural planet.
Check out where we're going. Sure if there's any. Nope. Let's see. Hang on a second. Looks like there's a sad nomad. So should we shoot him?
Sand nomad with a 10 feet patrol area.
Oh, nice shot, man.
Yeah, I mean, as far as showing a demo, getting people to put more money into the game, fantastic job by the RSI guys. Absolutely. Fantastic demo. And I'm 100% convinced that this is in-engine, exactly like they say. You have the little things that they would have fixed if it wasn't, such as the dead body floating about half a foot off the ground to the right-hand side of him. You know. Let's see, how do I pause? Okay. There's something later that I want to pause it on, so I'm going to do that. Just going to give you the frame rate back at the top right.
A second. Should we sneak up behind him? Alright. I guess he's watching the incoming sandstorm.
You notice the lightning strikes within the sandstorm as well, and that was a knife takedown, which is the first time. The first time that that's been seen.
Let's get out of here. Shit. Come on, hurry up, Vince. Alright, go quick. Fucking jump.
Super Cyber Striker, yes, on the Star Citizen Twitch. That's what I'm actually playing from right now. Twitch.tv/Star Citizen.
Alright, that's not good. We just lost our way in. Alright, let's see here.
So yeah, all of those loose bits that were laid out making a bridge, they all blew away.
Alright. That's where the black box will be. So let's see if let's find a way out.
Well, they did say earlier that if you take your ship out under certain circumstances, they kind of insinuated that it would lead to you crashing your ship if you were in turbulence and things like that. So if you go out in a storm, I've got to assume that something's going to happen to you. Luckily this bridge didn't blow away, huh? It wouldn't have made their demo work if it did. You can see the god rays there with the dust falling down. All of the little details that if you watch this 100 times you'll still see additional details. This is very Star Wars 7 feeling, as well as kind of a mixture of Dune in there too. Or June, depending on how you pronounce it. Another cutscene coming up.
Maybe that's not such a good idea.
Okay, so that was a little bit of a screwed up ending. You'll see they went to the console. Alright, and you can tell that they kind of screwed up there a little bit. Like you can see the dragonfly icon there. You can see the rover icon, which was obviously destroyed by the ambush, and it like zooms out, but the sound you can hear is still the worm. So you're actually seeing a bug like live on their live stream. And if you looked on the right hand side there, you could see like little water droplets. I think that was supposed to be his saliva, and it cut out at the wrong time with the zoom out effect. So this was an actual bug, and totally, in my opinion, guarantees that it was 100% live demo. Because the first time the worm actually disappeared too.
How did it? Okay, that's the first time it's ever done that. But you get to see the pull-out twice now.
So this was the proper pull-out. You should have seen the worm there the whole time that it zoomed out previously, but the previous zoom out, the worm disappeared. Shia-Lud. Alright, so just let me go back to that again, because there was the console came up. I just want to see what it said. So, no, a little bit earlier. Okay, here, you see that? So, map, Citizencon, Homestead. So this is the console that came up. And the spit, like you can see the droplets and things all over the place. And it actually disappears. So when it's supposed to start zooming out, the sound goes away, the worm disappears, and it starts zooming out. So that was a buggy episode. And Chris was probably just going to accept that as being the way that the demo ended. And then it looped around, and he had to obviously explain that it had happened. Like you saw the spit actually on the side of the planet there, and then you see it go back to that animation. And the player is in the position that he was when it last pulled out as well. So there's all of these things that tie into the previous loop and this loop that make me think that they're two completely independent things, and that it was 100% live and it was just a bug. So yeah. The only other thing that I wanted to show that I thought was really cool, they showed their procedural development tools, and
is just kind of show the scale, because the scale God complex when you're looking at this kind of stuff.
So look at this. I mean, they use procedural generation, but they do it manually. So
do a little bit of work.
Okay. Yeah, here you go. You can see him changing the elevation here by literally dragging over. So that's really, really, really cool. And then he can drag over different types of terrain. So now he's adding hills, mountains, etc. You can see actually the icon. It says kind of plateau and stuff like that, depending on what he's hovering over. So yeah, you can see the snow-capped mountains. They automatically come in because it knows that that's the right environment to have them once he makes the changes. You know, so that's very, very cool. And then I want to show when they placed some water here. His camera is actually tilted, so the water is actually level. You can see on the XYZ there that the water is actually level. And it just fills in the space perfectly for them. And then he's going to place some trees, I think, or rocks after this. Okay, so he's just spawning an object. But you can see how quickly these guys can just make a planet. It's like very, very, very impressive. Okay, trees coming next, I think. There you go. Look at that. Just instant. So yeah, he's doing it with rocks now. You can see it's kind of slightly differently placed, rotated, upright, or laid down. And they can just add more variations to make it, you know, obviously even better than it is already. And I think they're going to do a video on the tools at some point in the future. And here you can see they're creating life and just basically placing them where they want them, which is obviously what they did with the worms. And then now he's just spawned a ship there. You saw that, right? So let me bring the audio back up. This guy was a bit of a loud talker, so I'll not give you a too loud audio, hopefully.
A lot of game levels. The thing is that you're in a skybox. Like, what is so hard to wrap your head around is that that's not a skybox. That's actual atmosphere scattering that's happening. The sky is blue because the light scatters, right? So let's just kind of prove that to you. Those little sprites in the sky, they're not really sprites. Those are other planets.
Okay, so he's going to preview here.
One of those.
And actually take you somewhere else. And there's some huge
One of the other cool
teasers,
things, anyways, just
I think,
about our editor in
up.
general, you saw that while he's developing, he can actually just jump in and start actually playing the game directly from it. It's a super powerful tool. You won't iterate too much on stuff. If you have to shut down, take 5 minutes to reload some other executable, then you come back to your editor. Being able to just minutely change thing after thing after thing and jump in and try it again and jump in and try it again and jump in and try it again gives you really polished content.
Fantastic lighting already.
So there's one reason I'm standing here talking about it and Simon's flying. He's a very, very good pilot, and I think we're about to showcase this, no pressure. So that's not a sprite. Let's go.
I think they need to work a little bit on that transition. But
all right.
Look at this.
So a little bit of a different looking planet here.
The sun just popped on the right-hand side, which showed me that it was live. So this is kind of showing off a little more of the exotic
ecosystem that we can do, and we barely just scratched the surface on how far we can really take the exotic bits. These are sulfur lakes. This place probably just stinks. I mean, it's super hot. The sunset, though, that you can see, again, with the atmosphere scattering, we get this for free. You know, not for free. I mean, somebody worked very, very hard on it, Carson Wenzel. But in terms of actually running in the game, when the sun comes down on the horizon, yeah, we're going to get that scattering. We get natural day-night cycles because, well, the planet's rotating. So you see they're doing a bit of mining here, but Simon's, he's brave. All right.
He probably had indestructible mode on, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, he almost blacked out. We're all done. There's no pressure. But we really wanted to show you, again, like, without having too big of a demo put around it, we wanted to show you how we kind of, you know, level design jazz, Simon called it earlier, just something a little bit.
That was a pretty cool tease. Oh, sorry, I muted the audio there by mistake.
All right, so we've given away way too much already. They want me to get off, I know it. I'm so sorry.
So yeah, that was a big tease, showing, I think, the Idris, right? Is that right, guys? Yes, Andre, thanks. Yay, my weapon spawned. So I just had to wait longer then, essentially. That's good. So... no. Press Z, hold Z. Oh. Oh. Aha! Thank you so much. Okay. Thanks, guys. I don't know if that guy was actually trying to answer me or not, but it worked. Okay, so... haha. Okay, 625.
Stand by, scanning. Stand by, scanning.
625 is around here. Okay, come on, pilots.
Stand by, scanning. Radar contact. Stand by, scanning.
Overheating, I guess.
Stand by, all shields. System critical, enemy down.
Oof, that was a cool explosion.
Stand by, all shields.
Yeah, it'll probably take me a day or so to get used to the responsiveness, but it is actually what I want. I'm actually way more accurate when I'm like strafing than when I'm trying to fly straight towards them. He's talking about the curve of the controller. Basically, you can adjust the curve so that it's more responsive in the center or less responsive in the center, and then obviously vice versa, kind of anywhere else. There's a lot of controller options in Star Citizen that are very cool. Alright, well I mean, you know, it's not it's not a freelancer, you know, which felt pretty damn invincible. The responsiveness. I might actually need to adjust the curve. It's been so long since I've actually had a new stick. If you watched previous ones, you'll know I had a T16000M, but it had just started to lose its center, so it would like drift. And so I added like a dead zone so that it wouldn't do anything until I moved it like 5% right or left. So now it's just the fact that it's responding the way it is. It's a shock. Can't cope with the responsiveness. Okay, right. Well, anyway. I'll try and sort that out tomorrow. I'll boot up the game and try to figure out what the hell I'm doing wrong with the throttle there. But in the meantime, thanks very much for watching, everybody. I've really enjoyed kind of going through that Citizencon presentation again. I think they did a fantastic job there, and pretty excited about where the game's going, of course. It's 2 AM here. I have to be up in 5.5 hours. So, yeah, if the kids let me sleep that long. Please subscribe or follow if you want to catch up with me in the future. If you're new to Star Citizen, which some of you might be, considering Citizencon and the presentation and everything was today, if you check out my channel on YouTube, you'll see a Star Citizen playlist. Now, for each time when I was learning the game, which was 2 months ago, I basically got back into the game, having not played it since right at the beginning. I actually was a complete rookie, so if you're a complete rookie, I think those early streams will probably help a lot of you to make a purchase choice, even, you know, if you want to buy the game or you don't. It's something that you will probably find out from watching those. I think that'd be pretty useful for some of you. I will check out your channel for sure, Nimrod77. If any of you are interested, you don't have to buy it now, but if you are interested in buying Star Citizen in the future, if you go to twhtly.net/citizen, that will forward you on to my referral code, which you can also see on the screen. Basically, if you do that, then you get some extra kind of credits to spend in the game, and I hopefully eventually work my way up to getting a free ship. So, but you make your purchase decision yourself, but you can register on their website to use their forums and stuff like that, with my link anytime you like. But yeah, I've enjoyed this. I'm really excited about the Citizencon stuff that they showed with a planetary landing and various things, flora, fauna. Everything looked fantastic. The weather systems, the snow, the tools that they're using even to build the planets just all looked absolutely fantastic. So very exciting. But I'm still a little bit upset that Elite Dangerous isn't going to get there first. So yeah, because Elite was kind of my baby, but yeah, I'm okay with it. Whichever one gets there first, I'm sure I'll play it, and I'll probably play the one that gets there last too. I'm okay with that as well. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and have a very good Monday. Thanks. Bye bye.